there could be challenges. You can have different kind of excitement about it as well. So when we started this process of making a pretty evaluation of a new leader, we went through an extensive search, interviewed a lot of different people, but Mark stood out pretty much really early in that he's got excellent USL experience, not just coaching, but also having success in USL. And what also stood out was his process. Very, very detail-oriented, tactical acumen, but also how he builds culture. If you look at the players he has, he develops players, but he develops them into a unit, and a great group of men. And so that was something that really, really took our club in the right direction. And I'll pass it on to Mark, but really excited to be able to introduce Mark Briggs as our next head coach.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Hey guys, nice to meet you guys. Hopefully the start of a long relationship. No, I'm super excited to be here. I think what Jay spoke about there with me is obviously very complimentary, but for me, when I first spoke to Jay, there was an immediate connection. Not just about football and about philosophies that way, there's just an immediate connection, and I was excited to work with him. So that for me was the first process in wanting this position. And then you look at the roster, you look at the quality, you look at the facilities and the buildings that you guys are in. Everything's here to be successful, and now it's just about pushing the level. It's about making the players aware of where we want to go and giving them a vision that they can get behind and feel a part of.
All right, thank you. So we'll take questions now, and just before you ask your question, just say your name and your affiliation, just so Mark can put a name to the face. So whoever wants to go first, Jeff.
Jeff Spiegel, ADC 3340. When Jay talked about culture, what's the most important part of the process of building that culture, in your opinion?
I think first and foremost, it's you hear music playing. When I first got here, there was no music playing. You have to enjoy where you come to work. You have to enjoy what you do. For me, this is the best job in the world, and hopefully my energy can rub off on those guys. But we're under pressure. Pressure's a privilege, as you've probably heard many times. But you have to enjoy what you do, and when you enjoy what you do, you see the level of performance, you see the culture grow. And that's the first step for me, is enjoy being here, enjoy being a part of a special organisation, and enjoy what you do.
Hey Coach, Jonathan Hoppy with WBRC. Welcome to Birmingham here. What have you seen from the team so far, and in terms of the rest of the season, what do you kind of expect to see from the guys?
Look, we all want results. That's the name of the game, right? I think first and foremost, it's really important to give Tommy credit for the pieces that him and Jay have put in place, and then also give Jay and Avi incredible credit for what they've done over the last three weeks. It's been really difficult for them, and they've done an incredible job getting the team positive, getting the team results. So now for me coming in, it's made my life a little bit easier, but it's very important that we don't just throw all sorts of information at them and confuse things. So it's about being simple, giving them some clarity, but lifting the level and the standards of everything that we do.
And I guess a follow-up, how would you compare Birmingham, England to Birmingham, Alabama?
That was another part of why I'm here, to be honest with you. Obviously I'm from just outside of Birmingham back in England, and being in Birmingham now, it kind of felt like home from home, even like, the people, how receptive they are, how hard-working they are. Something just clicked and something just felt right.
I'm Timothy Bennett, Birmingham Sports Media. You have spoken in the past about your desire to go back to England, and coming here to a team that's in the league where you have already proven yourself. What do you hope that this can bring you in your next step?
I think my vision as a coach, I wanted to be in an organisation where I believed in what they were trying to do. And whether that's in England, whether that's in America, wherever that is. And when I spoke to Jay, I believed in what Jay wants to do. I believed in where the leadership of the club, the ownership of the club want to take this project. and that's why I'm so fortunate that Jay gave me the opportunity to be this leader. Where my career goes, who knows? My focus is making Birmingham as best as it can be.
Jay, obviously, I'm sorry, go ahead, you go ahead.
Yeah. John Fuller, the football forge. You mentioned the roster as being one of the attractive reasons you came here. So that leads me to the question of what kind of a playing style do you want to instill in this team, and how well do you think the current roster is going to be able to achieve that?
It's a great question. I think first and foremost, the talent on the roster is there for everyone to see. I think from a playing standpoint, we want to value the ball. We want to be courageous. We want to have courage. And what I mean by courage is to continue to want the ball. Don't hide behind people, whether you make a mistake or not. I just said to the guys, actually, I'll never scream at you if you make a mistake and you're trying to pass the ball. But if you don't react and you throw your arms up and you blame somebody else, I'm going to crush you. Right? So I want them to want the ball. I want them to play. I want it to be an attractive style. And then when we don't have the ball, to be quite honest, I want us to be horrible. You know, I want us to be nasty to play against. I want good men off the field that are humble and treat people the right way. But when we cross that right line, we've got to represent Birmingham and we've got to die for the crest that's on our chest. And that's the attitude that we have to instill.
As a follow-up, historically at Sacramento especially, you played with either 3 or 5 at the back mostly.
Yeah.
Is that something you think you're going to be able to do here, or are we going to see a 4-man back line as we have typically seen?
Yeah, look, I think as I get to implement my philosophy, I think my philosophy is about principles. So the systems it is what it is. It can be a 4, it can be a 3, it can be different systems. It's about the principles and the players understanding those principles. And utilising what you have. You know, utilising the players that I currently have and recognising their strengths and their weaknesses. And are we a better team in a 3 or are we a better team in a 4? That remains to be seen.
Jay, obviously the resume was really good, but what was it about the conversation where you go, that's my guy?
I want about 10 seconds before when he was talking about what he looks for in the locker room. But that, for me, that is exactly what, you know, I feel drove me instantly to kind of hearing him speak about the game. I get chills, right? And that's what's I can tell that's going to infuse the players to really buy into what he wants to do, from what his standards are, his principles are. And then formation for me, again, that's a great question. How do we build a team around what we currently have, and then if we need to make some changes here or there to build the best possible lineup we can have each week and week out. But for me, is working maximizing the talent on that roster, he'll be able to do it. And that's something to me that stood out right away.
A question for you, Jay. So obviously, Tommy Soon was out very early in the season. After giving him the off-season to kind of like turn things around, why was now the right decision, you think, to like make this move?
Yeah, first of all, very tough decision. I think we talked about it. It was not something that was made overnight. It was a process of kind of evaluating what it would look like, you know, through preseason, like I said, off-season, preseason, and kind of start of the season. And so results are obviously what you're looking at first and foremost, but then it's also performance. It's about where were the players and what were we getting out of each player. And so that became became something that I wanted to really look at, dive into, and look, there's not one person's responsible for a coach being let go. It's everyone. I felt it as hard as anyone, and the players felt it. So that's the hard part of a transition. I think that was something that it hit us there for, as Mark said, it was a challenging 3.5 weeks to kind of get moving forward past that. But now we're at the exciting part of bringing in a new leader, bringing in someone that, you know, brings the values that you're trying to continue to build or even reset as we start this season or continue this season. And I said to him earlier, there's nothing harder than taking over a team without a long preseason, without a lot of time to work through the kind of the nuances of how you want to play, how you want to build. But at the same time, I do think Mark's smart enough. He knows the league. He understands what it takes to win at this level, and so it's not going to be fixed, you know, Saturday. It's going to take some time to get there. So there's going to be a grace period of time to really figure out what the best way for us to play is. But for me, starting day one, the music on, the culture, the guys, the way they respond, that is really further ahead than we've been, and I'm excited about that.
for you, Mark. So as he says, like it's obviously not easy to come in this early, but you did give credit to Avila, who took over as interim, was already here as an assistant, and will be staying on with you as an assistant.
Yeah.
How important is he going to be to this
It's
transition?
huge. It's huge. He knows the players. He's been here a long time. He's just been in a position of leadership. So it would be foolish of me not to lean on Jay, not to lean on Avi. They know the players better than I do, you know. So it's about getting the right information and me dissecting it and then delivering it in a way that gets the guys excited.
Can we expect any more additions to the coaching staff over the next few years?
Yes, but not so much on field. We're really revamping, or I want to say it is adding to our analytics department, and so you'll see some new hires on both the help on the scouting and recruitment, but also the on-field performance. So those will be added, and then as I think we wanted to give Eric time and Mark time to kind of adjust and see, but as time goes, there may be one or two coaches that we look at, but the next announcement will be kind of that analytics development that we're doing.
Everyone good?
I got just one final question for you, Mark. On a podcast about Cato Hodges, who also calls this people pointed out that you had a very brief overlap with Matt Van Opel back at Real Monarchs. Do
Right.
you remember him at all, and like have you spoken to him before?
Yeah, I remember Matt and Fanny. Fanny was there just before I get there as well, so there's a knowledge of those guys. Great guys, good people, good players. I'm fortunate to have them in our locker room.
Yeah.
Jump in. Morgan Copes, I help with the color commentary for the team, but bringing up Mac Van Opel, obviously older in age, you were obviously younger in age than our previous coach. And you look at a lot of coaches that have a lot of success in leagues like this, and a lot of them are younger in a lot of senses. And how do you go about bridging that gap from your age to your oldest player to your youngest player? Do you find that's easier knowing that you are younger versus some of maybe the older coaches?
Maybe, yeah. I think for me, it's about people. And no matter what their age is, if you treat everyone the same, and you connect with people and they understand that you want what's best for them, I think then it's about relationships, right? And I think those relationships are what create culture, are what drives performance, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. Whether that's impacted why I'm a little bit closer in age to them, that may be helpful, but I think it's just about treating people the right way, always being open-minded, and always understanding that sometimes I don't know it all. Sometimes Jay might say something where I'm like, God. Sometimes a player might say something where I'm like, they're right. Sometimes I might do an interview and you guys say something and I'm like, Jesus, So I think it's about being open-minded and being able to put your hand up and say, guys, I was wrong,